Welcome to Tarot's Landing, a place where we explore tarot old and new, the familiar archetypes and the strange little cards that show up like they've always belonged. Settle in, take a breath, and let's see what the tide brings in today. A quick note before we begin. Not every reading is for everyone. If something here speaks directly to you, you're in the right place. Take what resonates and let it land. And if you feel this message drifting past you, that's okay too. Trust that. We'll be here. And we look forward to seeing you next time. As I tune in, I'm getting the sense of a crossroads, a bright opportunity on one side and a quieter truth underneath it on the other. There's a too easy shine in the air, something tempting, something convenient, alongside the feeling that what's been avoided is ready to be accounted for. But I also feel a gentler current moving in, clarity that arrives at the right time, and healing that doesn't erase the past, only softens its edges. So if you've been weighing a choice, sensing a cost, or waiting for the fog to lift, stay close. Let's begin. Alright, so our first card coming down is Golden Offer, reversed, and immediately this feels like the moment where something that once looked shiny, easy, or almost too perfect is starting to lose its spell. I'm hearing, wait a second, what would this actually cost me? And that is important. Because reversed, this card says the glamour is cracking. You're seeing the fine print now. You're recognizing that not every open door is meant to be walked through just because it opened quickly. For some of you, this is about an opportunity, an agreement, a relationship, or even a promise of relief that would have asked you to give up too much of yourself in exchange for speed or certainty. And I really feel that Spirit Team is saying, it is not a loss to slow down. It is not a failure to reconsider. It is not weakness to say, no, I want the version of this that lets me keep my future intact. There's also a reclaiming here. If you've been in a pattern of taking the quick fix because you were tired, overwhelmed, or just ready for something to finally work, this card is very compassionate. It says you're waking up, not messing up. You're learning the difference between being rescued and being empowered. So already this first card tells me the reading begins with discernment. Something tempting is being questioned, and that is a very healthy beginning. Okay, and now our second card is Undercity reversed. Oof! This goes deep and it confirms what that first card was already hinting at. Because if Golden Offer reversed said, the shiny shortcut is losing its appeal, Undercity reversed says, and underneath that there is something unresolved that can't be skipped anymore. This feels like buried cost, hidden strain, something that's been managed on the surface but not actually healed at the root. For some of you, this is emotional. For others, this is financial, relational, or even energetic. But the message is the same. Avoidance has been building structure. The thing not being dealt with has started shaping the whole situation. I'm hearing, name it. Name the resentment, name the fear, name the debt, name the conversation you keep postponing. Because this card reverses can show repeating loops. Same lesson, different costume. And Spirit is being very clear that you do not get free by decorating the surface while the foundation is cracking underneath. There may also be a tendency here to keep things vague, to imply, to hope, to silently carry, to silently expect, and that's part of the trap. This card wants explicit truth. Honest terms, real accounting. So together, these first two cards say, don't take the easy way out and don't pretend the deeper issue isn't there. The path forward begins when you are brave enough to look under the floorboards. Alright, and now our third card is Sunrise. And honestly, this is such an important shift in the reading because after two very heavy reversed cards, here comes the light. Not harsh light, not punishment, clarity. This feels like the moment where something you've been sensing underneath it all finally becomes visible enough to work with. Because that's the thing. Sunrise doesn't always mean everything is suddenly easy. It means it becomes clear enough. Clear enough to stop second guessing yourself. Clear enough to name what's true. Clear enough to see what the cost has been, what the pattern is, and what your next step actually needs to be. I'm really feeling that for many of you, this is confirmation. The confusion is breaking, the fog is thinning, and what's being revealed may be something you already knew in your body before your mind was ready to admit it. A truth about a relationship, a truth about an offer, a truth about what can and cannot continue as it has been. And I want to say this gently. The light here is not against you. It's for you. It's showing you what the night was letting you tolerate. So this card says, look, don't look away now. Don't shrink back into the old uncertainty just because it was familiar. The path ahead may not be painless, but it is becoming unmistakable, and that is a blessing. So, where we are right now, this reading is very clearly moving from temptation into accountability, into clarity. First, we saw the spell breaking around something that looked easy but would have cost too much. Then we saw the deeper truth underneath it, the unresolved foundation, the thing that can't be bypassed anymore. And now, with sunrise, we're arriving at that moment where the fog lifts just enough for you to see what's real. So, as we move into these next two cards, I really feel we're about to learn. What do you do with that truth, and where does it lead if you honour it? Alright, and now our fourth card is Sea Glass, and this feels like such a beautiful softening in the reading. Because after the clarity of sunrise, sea glass tells me that once the truth is seen, healing can actually begin in a real way. Not denial, not pretending nothing happened, not forcing forgiveness, but that slow process where something that once hurt to even touch becomes possible to hold. I really feel this card saying, you are not where you were, whatever this situation is. Whatever wound or disappointment or hard truth has been moving through these cards, the sharpest edge of it is beginning to wear down. Time has been doing something here. Perspective has been doing something here. And for some of you, that means you're finally ready to talk about something, release something, or understand something without it tearing you open all over again. But Sea Glass also asks for an exchange. It says healing asks you to put something sharp down, a grudge, a private story, the need to keep proving how much something hurt. Not because your pain wasn't real, but because you don't have to keep bleeding to prove it mattered. So this card feels like recovery, gentleness, and emotional maturity. Something broken is not becoming unbroken, but it is becoming workable, meaningful, even wise, and that is its own kind of beauty. Alright, and now our fifth card is abundance. And wow, this is such a beautiful place for this reading to land, because after everything we've moved through, this is the card that says there is more for you on the other side of honesty than there ever was inside the shortcut. Abundance here doesn't feel like flashy excess. It feels like flow restored. It feels like once you stop pouring energy into the wrong offer, once you stop avoiding the deeper truth, once you let clarity and healing do their work, something begins moving again. Support, stability, nourishment, reciprocity. The current opens. For some of you, this is emotional abundance. For others, it's financial, relational, creative. But the message is the same. What is meant to sustain you will not require you to betray yourself to receive it. I also feel this card reminding you not to close up after everything you've learned here. Don't let discernment turn into fear. Don't let wisdom turn into withholding. Abundance asks you to trust the healthier flow now, to give cleanly, receive openly, and stop treating life like every blessing comes with a trap attached. This is a really strong ending. It says that when you choose truth over temptation and healing over avoidance, you do not end up empty. You end up available for something better. It was a pleasure doing this reading for you. Please subscribe for more readings.